Hello again, it's Noob, and I featured this kit in one of my videos exploring some of the best beginners sets that are out there from various manufacturers, and this is the classic set from Sparrows Lockpicks. For full disclosure, this set was given to me to review and to keep by Sparrows Lockpicks. I do not share the video with Sparrows Lockpicks before I publish it. I'm not paid, all thoughts are my own. And yes, I have worked with Sparrows in the past on various designs, and I hope to continue to do so in the future. So all those disclosures out of the way, let's crack on and see what we actually get in this set. So why did I identify this kit as being a particularly good kit for a beginner, or I guess even an intermediate picker? Well, it has a really nice mixture of hooks and rakes in here, with the majority of the tools being hooks, which I think a lot of lock pickers prefer, although a couple of classic rakes do not go amiss. These are two brilliant profiles. You've got your city rake or L rake, and you've got a triple peak rake there as well. Two of the most common and most loved rake profiles, albeit some people I think sleep on the city rake because it is an older profile. But then you have 4 hooks in here as well, and these are differing heights and profiles, as you would imagine. So you have probably the shortest hook, which is this nice flat-topped short hook. It's a classic Sparrows short hook. These come with the rubberized handles, which are a lot more comfortable than the bare metal handled ones, and these are in 25 thousandths of an inch. I don't know exactly what steel they use, but I think it's a high yield stainless. This is so I think high yield 301 stainless. This is what they call the Euro hook. It's got a tiny bit more reach on this hook and a finer point, which is actually slightly better for getting around tighter warding than the standard hook, but they do occupy the same niche in terms of their usefulness. And then you have a flat topped, well, it's not quite flat topped, or medium hook, and then I'd say a deep hook on this one with again, a rounded point. Why do I say this isn't quite flat topped? Well, if you look, it's got a very, very small notch profile on it. I don't know whether you can pick that up on the camera, but there's a very, very slight notch on it. Not, I'll be honest with you, enough of a notch to make a difference, and not to be compared with something like the monkey paw, which has a ledge. So it looks like a notch pick. Actually, it's a ledge with I guess a little stop or nose on the end. So very, very different. But yes, this is is that what they call a high reach? I can't remember the names of all the hooks. But they are 4 different hooks in different sizes and profiles, all of which will be very handy depending on what lock you're going to pick on what occasion. What is a bit odd about this kit is it also comes with an Adams Wright bypass driver. So this is for Adams Wright style commercial door locks, and I will show you how that works. It's a bypass tool. It also comes with this padlock bypass driver, which works on American lock style locks like these. Well, that is an actual American lock, and one similar, which are unprotected or have an unshielded actuator. So again, get 2 of those in there. And then one of the most important parts of any kit, you have your turning tools. So you have your short end, which can be used for top of the keyway and bottom of the keyway in smaller padlocks. Your longer end on the Z wrench for your bottom of the keyway turning, so that'll be pin side, and that would be away from pins. And you can see here that the tips are 3 different thicknesses, which is very, very useful because it depends on what lock you're picking. The larger the keyway, usually the larger the tool you're going to go for, or at least in width. Then you have the same kind of tool widths here for these turners, these L wrenches, but with a wire twist. Well, when you apply torque on these, the twist makes it so that the metal flexes. That can be useful when you're electro picking or raking by hand. I tend to use the solid tools, these turners, more often, but your preference might be these, especially if you're raking. But either way, you have 9 different turning ends, which is quite nice. The case is really, really nice as well. You have pockets everywhere. They can take a couple of picks in each pocket. You can also put picks in the back here like that. You got deeper pockets on this side for putting these types of tools and your L wrenches and things like that, and your Z wrenches, which are maybe a bit thicker and wider, although I do tend to put my turning tools in the center like that because that's just where I think they're most appropriate. So you've got a lot of different pockets to hold many more tools than are in this set. Should you want to grow, maybe grab a few monkey paws in different thicknesses, or some 20 thousandths of an inch picks instead of these 25 thousandths of an inch thick tools. You know, you've got room to grow in this case, but this is actually the competition case, and this is meant to be folded back on itself. But yeah, it's got nice stitching and beading all the way around. Just, you know, it's durable, made of, I guess, a nylon. It just feels very nice. But it does have a really cool feature, which is if you take these bits off like this, these poppers, what you can do is you can fold this back on itself, which seems like an odd thing to do. But what you end up doing is you turn this to the side like that and put the near popper on, which is like that, and then it holds itself up like this. Why? Well, one, if you just are having a picking session at home and you want to have your picks nearby, so maybe you're doing a bit of hybrid raking, you rake a lock open, gets into a false set, you can just swap over with your short hook. Very, very easy. You're not just like throwing them all over your desk and making a mess. You can keep these nice organized. If you're in competition, which is what this case was designed for, you could keep all your pick profiles just like this, and if you want to swap to a medium hook, deep hook, whatever you need, you can basically just grab what you need on the fly as you're picking. Same with any other tools and turning tools and anything else there. You can just stick these in and you can have a whole bunch of turning tools and whatever you want really in here, just ready to go. And it's a really nice feature. So it's similar to the Sparrows Sherman case, which I do honestly use as my everyday pick case, because I really like the zip that goes all the way around. Why? Well, if you do have turning tools and things and you lock this back up, so again, you don't have to necessarily tidy it up by doing that, but you can. But if you zip this up and you've got loose tools in there and give it a shake, then even if the tools come loose like that, they're not going to fly out of the case, which on some other case formats that does happen. So I really like these zip cases. This is a really novel idea. I don't know anybody else who does a case which falls back on itself, so it forms like a display case that you can easily access your tools as you're picking. I really like that idea. It just falls back and clips. It's just such a sweet idea. But enough about the case and the tools we get in. Let's do some demonstrations. So let's do these bypass drivers first, just to get those out of the way. These are designed to, these are obviously locked up. These are designed to bypass all of the locking mechanism. Go basically down the lock like this. Then you should be able to wiggle it until it gets into the space between the actuator and the tail piece of the lock, and then you just turn it and it will bypass the lock. Now, some locks are shielded, which means they have a little metal disc at the back which stops this tool going through, but a lot aren't. And it is a really fun technique. I will just say that. So again, you go down, so the club foot up, if you like. So it's a little foot, it looks like a little club. And then you can put that down. Again, you just need to wriggle it until it gets in between the, there you go, the tail piece of the lock and the actuator, and you can open this lock up. Very, very cool indeed. The Adams Wright driver is a little bit more curious, and I think these locks are more common in the US than they are in the UK, but I have seen quite a lot of them over here in the UK as well. I don't know about mainland Europe, I'm just based in the UK, but I know these are extremely common in the US in commercial doors, and you'd normally have two locks on either side of a commercial doorway. The tailpiece would be on one side on this lock, and the tailpiece would be on this side. And what you do is you put this tool in, it's flexible steel, and you push it down so it slips underneath the pins in the keyway. And then what you're doing is essentially slipping between the two lock halves, and you're going to grab, so at the moment, you can imagine this is in the door, and that's pushed in, and that won't retract at all, because that's how this works. Once that, if imagine it's slamming, and this goes into a little mortise or in the door, this would be pushed in, and that would stop you being able to like do that credit card bypass on the lock. But with this tool, it doesn't matter. You grab this little latch at the back, so it goes in, turn it, grab, and watch this. Watch what happens. So you're literally grabbing that piece, and it doesn't matter if you're holding down that locking piece. You can actually see that you're grabbing this whole mechanism and sliding the latch back. It's really fun to do, actually, because yeah, you can't do it by pushing in on this. It just won't happen when it's closed, but you can just bypass all of that, grab this, give it a turn, and yeah, it's a little bit fiddly to get it to retract all the way, but you can do it quite easily once you get used to it. It's just an interesting bypass tool, really. It's just a bent piece of wire and a handle, but it works very, very effectively. Let's try picking a few locks. So I've got a city rake and this armored shutter lock, and we're going to go in and just see whether we can't use this to rock this lock open. Yep, there we go, straight away. So then you can take this out and just turn it like that to get over the piece you have to pull out with your fingers, and unlocked. And there are so many locks which can be opened very quickly using a humble city rake. The bitting does need to be relatively flat, but it's so satisfying to use such a classic profile on locks like these. So just pop that in, give it a little rock and a rake while pulsing the tension. That's the technique that works for me, and yeah, there you go, we have the open. The triple peak rake acts a lot more dynamically inside the lock. It's able to lift the pins sort of higher and accelerate the pins up a bit more. So let's have a go at just doing a few rakes with this. It's just a cheap Chinese laminated lock, but you know, oh, there we go. It's always still fun to rake these locks open, isn't it? And even higher security locks with multiple security pins can be teased open with the right technique if you just kind of use a gentle rocking motion with light tension, and there we go. For these shorter hooks, then, well, we just get a lock with a smaller keyway, I guess, which means we have not as much room. So something like this deep hook would really struggle to get in there. You can see how deep that is, but a nice short hook has a nice low profile, so we should be able to pick this smaller A-bus without too much trouble if we just pay attention. You'll notice I'm using the twisted turning tool, and the reason is, I don't know, I just had it and it worked, as you can see. For this pointy Euro hook, we're going to try and pick a Euro cylinder, which has a nice paracentric keyway, and this pointed tip and slightly scalloped profile does allow you to just get around the warding a little bit more easily in this type of lock. Not saying the other picks can't do that too, but it is just a consideration. And I'm going to try to find the right turning tool. That one feels great. It's one of the Z wrenches, and we're just going to go in here and see what we can find. So already pin 6 there, easy little click. Pin 1 now is binding. Oh, that's really high up. Pin 3 into a false set. Pin 4, give me counter rotation, so it's a security pin. Pin 5, counter rotation again. Oh, I think I dropped a pin. It's okay. That's pin 1, I think. Yep. Try and get that pin 5. Yeah, that's okay. And then pin 4 into that, back into that false set. 1 feels fine. 2 might need some picking. 2, yeah, that felt good. Oh, 3 just hit into a false set. So 4 now is binding again. Pick, and we are open. Lovely. And we'll finish picking with one of these deeper hooks on a lock with a deeper keyway. So in the vise, I have an American lock, 1100 series. I'm going to use the short end of one of these turning tools, one of the Z wrenches, and I'm going to put that at the top of the keyway just like that. And it goes, because it's long enough, it goes into this recessed keyway. It's able to just sit behind that first pin, and then because it's a nice deep hook, I'm able to access the pins at the top. So I'm just going to go along, 5 there, a couple of clicks out of that, 4, 3, 2, pin 1 here at the front, into a nice deep false set, try 5 at the back, nothing on 4, 3 now, 3, little click as a counter rotation, back to pin 1 I think, feels fine, 5 at the back, I think that's giving me some counter rotation, and we are open. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. We got through the majority of the tools. I certainly had fun doing it. It's always fun doing some lockpicking anyway, isn't it? And doing a review like this is just an excuse to do a little bit more. So let's move on to some conclusions then. Pros, cons, things I liked, things I didn't like so much, changes that I would make, recommendations, all of that kind of stuff. But first let's have a look at price. So price, and for all the tools and the case, on the Sparrows US website at the time of recording, it was $52 US, which does equate to, and again, at today's exchange rates, they will go up and down, and not including postage and local taxes or anything like that. That comes down to 40 Great British pounds and 81 pence, or around 48 euros and 21 cents, somewhere around that. And I think that that is a very competitive price for what you get here, especially with that novel back folding competition case. So things I like. I've always liked the Sparrows steel. It's very strong, it's very durable and firm, and conveys the feedback, because this is a full tang handle. This is metal all the way underneath this sort of rubberized coating, and you get really good feedback from these. They're not the thickest handles, they do have a bit of flex in them, but I've always found these to be very, very comfortable. The finishing on them is not bad. It's not the most rounded, polished edges, but none of them are rough, none of them need shaping or polishing out of the pack, but you may want to rub some 1000 grit wet and dry paper around these if you want a little bit more of a mirror finish, a bit more glide on the shanks. But I just use them straight out the pack. I've never really put a polish on any of my Sparrows picks. I also like the fact that it's very hook heavy. I like the fact there's 4 hooks and 2 rakes. That's great, because I think that when you're getting into the hobby and you're looking to buy a named brand kit from a reputable company that you can actually contact and talk to, I think that you want to have probably more hooks at that stage in your picking career. When you're first starting, rakes are great because you just rake open a few easy locks, but I think having a nice range of hooks is a great start for a kit. And yeah, you still need a couple of rakes, because if you want to do hybrid picking or just rake a couple of easy locks, then that's really nice too. But I like that ratio. I think that 9 turning tool ends that can be used top of the keyway, bottom of the keyway, mixture of the flexi turning tools and the more rigid Z wrenches. Again, it's a really nice start. Can you ever have enough turning tools? Probably not, but this is a great start for a small set like this. And the case. Now, I have to say I prefer the Sparrows Sherman case, because it's just sort of bigger, has flaps in and all that kind of thing. But I also really like the novel action of this. Now, I say novel action, but not novelty, because I don't think it's a novelty. It actually works really well, and it works just as a display. You keep this on your desk as you're picking. You don't have to be a competitive picker to use this. So it is really novel. It is quite ingenious. And I don't think I've seen anybody else do a case like that. So I just really like it. It's a nice case, and it's durable. It's got this piping around the edge. It's stitched properly where it needs to be. It's got a nice zip. None of your tools fall out, so I really like that too. Things that I don't like so much. There isn't much, I'll be honest with you. I would say that I don't think that these 2 hooks are really that far apart in their function. Now, the Euro hook and the short hook, you could argue the same, but in particular these. And I don't think that notch is really that deep. I mean, I'm trying to show you the notch and you can just about make it out, but it's not notched enough. So I think that I'd rather this just be like a medium hook and that be the deep hook. You could, of course, and it would invalidate any warranty that comes with these, but you could just file this off into a more medium hook profile if you wish. As it stands, it's actually very usable. I just don't think it's that the notch on here actually really does anything, and the rounded tip of this deeper hook is so much better for its purpose, I think. So that's one thing. Now this isn't a I don't like it, I just don't know if it makes sense for everybody. Now in Europe, like I said, the Adams Wright commercial door locks just aren't that common, and also as a lock sporter, not professional, I don't know why you'd need an Adams Wright bypass driver. I just don't know why. It's not something that I ever really need. Now, I have a YouTube channel. I like to demo bypasses and opening techniques and things like that. So for me, really like having this, very useful tool for me, but I don't know many beginner or intermediate lockpickers who aren't professionals who would need one of those. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense for me. Not a bad tool, definitely works, but in this as a composition, I'm not so sure. And to a lesser degree, this padlock bypass driver works very well, works exactly as intended. A lot of fun, and I think new pickers trying to explore those American lock style locks will have a lot of fun trying to do the bypass on this. But as a addition to a set like this, I'm not quite sure how it fits in. Are the tools bad? No, not at all. They work perfectly well. Does it make sense in a set like this? I'm not sure. Definitely not the Adams Wright style lock bypass. Maybe you could, think actually that's kind of fun inclusion. Why not? But this one doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Other than that, there aren't many other negatives. I think it's a very good value set with a nice case, with a novel folding function which may or may not appeal to you. I guess it's a matter of taste. I like the fact that this set actually comes with all handles. I think it's a really nice package, and I do stand by my opinion that this is a very good beginner-friendly lockpick set. I think that because it has those handles and the hook to rake ratio and good turning tools and the nice case, really does make it worth consideration. So that's enough about me talking. I'd love to know what you think to this set down in the comments. I do read all the comments. I reply to as many as I can. I just want to know, do you have this set? Do you use it? What do you think to the addition of these bypass drivers? Do you like the case? Whatever you think, put it down below. I'm sure people would like to know your opinion as well as mine. If you like this video, leave that like, and if you haven't subscribed and want to subscribe for more content like this, then please do so, because it really helps my channel out and helps me keep going. Other than that, all I can say is stay safe, happy picking, and I'll see you all next time.